All right. So good evening and welcome to our fifth Youth Leadership Forum. It's been very cool, a very cool journey working with the youth and the different presenters and panelists to learn about the various different topics, from the zoning ordinance to from the community leaders to just all of the different forms that we've had. It's been a fun journey. And let me share my screen so we can. As you can see, here's our agenda for tonight. We technically we start at 6:30, but I try to give us at least 5 minutes. Never know who may trickle in a little later, and we'll stick with this, and we will move accordingly. So again, welcome to our fifth Leadership Forum. In this forum, we'll be honoring Dr. Martin Luther King by visiting Dr. King's "I Have a Dream" speech. Last Wednesday, the youth co-host, Ms. Pettiford, and myself, we met to discuss what parts of Dr. King's dream have been achieved, as well as the parts of his dream that have not been achieved, specifically in Anson County. And the biggest thing that we learned from this discussion is that perspective is everything. Everyone had their own experience, and so the answers, they varied for each of the kids. And we had an age range from, I think our youngest was a fourth grader, and our oldest was an eighth grader. And so, Ms. Pettiford put together a really nice graphic for us. And in the graphic, and as far as the discussion was concerned, the different aspects of Dr. King's dream, right? So what did he create? What did his dream look to create? And so these were some of the points: equal voting rights, justice for all, brotherhood across all races, freedom to have life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and all people to be judged by their character. And also he sought to end segregation, police brutality, discrimination, and poverty. And so what we did like a impromptu survey, but we asked the kids, they were given the option to answer either yes, no, maybe, or I don't know, for the particular points that we were talking about. And the first one was and this was really interesting again because these are young people. The oldest was an eighth grader, and so completely different experiences than many of us adults may have experienced. But I thought it would be cool to let y'all kind of see the data. But the first question was, the first aspect was there are equal voting rights in Anson County. And the majority, of course, they answered they didn't know because nobody's old enough to vote right now. And so that was kind of a gimme. The next one is there's justice for all in Anson County. The majority of the group, they answered maybe. The next question, there is brotherhood across all races in Anson County. That was also a maybe. There is freedom to have life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness in Anson County. The majority was yes. There were maybe one or two maybes, but the majority was yes. And then in Anson County, all people are judged by their character, and the majority of the group, they answered yes. Now, the parts of his dream that we wanted to see if they had ended included the segregation. So the question was, segregation has ended in Anson County, and this one was really even. There were a couple of yeses, a couple of nos, a couple of maybes, a couple of I don't knows, and so it was very even mixture. Police brutality has ended in Anson County. That was the majority. They answered maybe. Discrimination has ended in Anson County, and again, this was an even mixture. There were some yeses, some maybes, and I don't knows. And then the last one, poverty has ended in Anson County. So everybody can see that one wasn't hard for everybody to determine that had not ended. And so that was a unanimous no on that part. And so again, there were no wrong answers for the youth participants because again, this really just came down to their perspective and what they have experienced. Because what may be true for somebody else may not be true for someone else. And so that's why we were really excited about bringing in our two panel guests today, because we figured they would have they could offer a different perspective because they've been around a little longer, and they may, especially their line of work, they may have some really good perspective and advice and just insight that they could give on these particular topics. So, and I also want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Cannon at the library. He, hopefully you got a chance to check out the Black History book display at the Hampton B. Allen Library. He put that together, and it has been there all month. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully you got a chance to go check it out. All right, so next up, we're going to go ahead and introduce our panelists. And Ms. Pettiford, because I know originally we were going to kind of go back and forth, but she's going to allow herself to be put on the panel. So I figured that I would go ahead and run through it. But our first panelist that we will highlight is Mr. Lee Ungatewood, and you can kind of read his bio, but Mr. Gatewood is he's from Wadesboro, North Carolina. He is an Anson County legend. He is a founder and CEO of the 501c3 nonprofit Holla, which stands for Helping Our Loved Ones Learn. Helping Our Loved Ones Learn and Achieve. Community Development Corporation. The organization was formed to address low achievement in the local school systems and has since developed into a staple of the community, providing valuable resources and social capital to local students. He is a 1980 graduate of Livingstone College, where he earned a Bachelor of Science in Biology. He was inducted into the Livingstone UNCF Hall of Fame in 2018. So, Mr. Lee Ungatewood. Next, we have Miss Reverend Heather Dawn McIntyre. She is a pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Wadesboro. Reverend Heather Dawn McIntyre hails from the small town of Sisterville, West Virginia. She is a graduate of Louisville Presbyterian Theological Seminary. Pastor Heather is dedicated to creating and maintaining just and compassionate relationships in small and rural communities. She was called to serve First Presbyterian Church in Wadesboro in 2019. All right, so those are our panelists, our guest panelists, and we look forward to getting the discussion and the questions rolling. Next, I'll introduce our youth host. First up, we have Micah Chance. Micah Chance, I'm representing Anson County 4-H. Micah is the one that's going to be smiling real big when you see him. We also have Jeremiah Kirkley representing Holla. We have Andrew Martin representing Anson County 4-H. Zoe Martin representing Anson County 4-H, as well as Leah Smith Maxwell. So I really proud and impressed with these youth. Like I said, we met them last Wednesday, and these are some topics that, you know, just a bit more serious. And so it was great to kind of walk and talk them through this discussion. So, all right, so let's get into it. And if you all will give us just a few moments, because I can't see the screen, and so it may take me just a second to kind of highlight. So we're going to highlight Heather, spotlight, and we're going to spotlight Mr. Gatewood. All right. And I won't spotlight you kids. Just make sure you speak loud enough to where they can hear you, okay? All right. Okay. You let me? I got some music. You hear me? All right. Let's do this. So the order that I have, I'm sorry, y'all. I got some music. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I can.
I think it might be Leon, but I'm not sure.
What was the question?
Do you have music playing, Mr.
I think you got music playing. It's real
Is that
smooth.
my music or yours?
It's real smooth. I think it's yours, Mr. Gatewood.
I was. If it's mine, I'm sorry. Is it my music?
Let me see. I'm gonna check it. I'm gonna hit you. Yeah, it was definitely yours. It was definitely yours. You may have like a I don't know. I don't know if it's on your computer, but anyway, we'll work through it. I'm gonna give us the order so that my kids can kind of prepare our youth. All right. So first up, we'll go through this lineup. So we got Zoe. You go first, and then we'll follow with Andrew, Leah. You'll be third, Jeremiah, and then Micah. You'll round it up. Okay. And so when they ask the questions, it'll be for either of you to answer. All right. Both of you can answer, or just whoever feels strongly about the question can take the liberty to answer. And so, all right, Zoe, you ready? Actually, let me spotlight you since you're going. All right.
Yes.
The floor is yours.
My name is Zoe Martin. I'm with 4-H. My first question is, are there equal voting rights in Anson?
Zoe, this is Lee Ungatewood. How are you?
Good.
Great question. I'll say it this way. There are equal voting rights in Anson to the extent that we take advantage of the opportunity to vote. Okay. Do you have the right? I'll put it that way. Yes, ma'am. We all have the right to vote. And as far as I'm concerned, and there could be different opinions, as far as I'm concerned, we have equal rights to vote in Anson County. And like I said, but my concern would be, or my urging would be, that everyone takes advantage of their right to vote.
Zoe, this is Pastor Heather. I'd actually like to add to that. I think Mr. Gatewood is exactly right, that there are equal voting rights here, and that it is important to, use those voting rights. What worries me is that it can be hard to get to the polls so that you can vote. So I know one thing that a lot of churches worry about is, can people get to the polls? Do they have a car to get there? And if not, can someone drive them there? And so that's one thing that I want to see churches and other groups working on, making sure everyone has the ability to vote.
I would like to thank Heather for adding that point, because that requires more community action, So one of the things we really, we'll talk more about later is community action. Sure.
My second question is, why is voting so important?
Heather, I'm gonna let you take that one at first.
All right, I'm going to take that from a really specific point of view. I'm a Presbyterian preacher, and Presbyterians believe that God all gives us an idea of what's the right thing to do, but that none of us are perfect, that we all make mistakes in what is the right thing to do, and that people discern what's the right thing to do best when we do it together. So why voting is important to me is that this gives everyone a chance to decide together what is best for a community, what is best for our nation, what is best for the world. And everyone needs to have a voice in that, because people have very different perspectives. And you can be the nicest person and still sometimes get things wrong. But when we come together, we hope that together we can come to the right decision, which is why I want as many people voting as possible. I want us to build up a just and merciful and compassionate society together.
Zoe, not too many years ago, people like you and I did not have even the right to vote. And it was a difficult time for us. And now it's even more confusing to people like myself and others. Anyway, we're supported by an organization called Black Voters Matter. And one of the main objectives of the organization is to remind Black people, not anyone else in particular or necessarily, but remind Black people that Black voters matter. And it's important because the people who are elected determine your future. They determine policies that affect you every day. The school board members are elected officials. Your town councils, your county managers, all of those people are elected to come up with policies that affect your daily lives. So voting, it is so important to vote for those reasons.
Zoe,
That good, Zoe?
yeah, I was gonna say, what you think, Zoe?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Zoe.
Thanks for asking that question.
All right, Andrew, you are up next, sir. The floor is yours.
My name is Andrew Martin. I represent 4-H, and my topic is justice. My first question is, have there been any cases in Anson County where justice was not served?
Leon, you've been here a lot longer than I have and know more of Anson County's history, so I'm going to defer to you on that.
Andrew, right? How old are you, Andrew?
I'm 13.
13, right. Okay, I'm 63. I'm about 50 years older than you. But anyway, Andrew, there's injustice going on every day. Trust me. We just have to navigate our way through it. I could start throwing out instances, but I won't do that to protect the innocent. So, yes, sir. There are injustices in Anson County, and I can pretty much assure you there are injustices going on every day. But it's up to us as human beings to minimize injustice or make as less injustice in the world as possible. But there will always be injustices. I hope that doesn't discourage you, but it is up to us to try to minimize or make less and less injustice every day. Did I clear you up? Was that a great answer, man?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. I will say, Andrew, that working at the church, we get a lot of calls about things that are unjust and just wrong that are happening, people who need help. And we can try to hook people up with people who can help and who can fight for justice. Sometimes we can. I talk to a lot of people who are having housing issues, and a lot of that is just not right. I want to believe that if we can work together, we can start to change those injustices.
All right. And my second question is, what measures can we take to make sure that justice is taking place?
A big one for me, Andrew, and this is a great question. A big one for me is if you see something, say something. A lot of times injustice gets swept under the rug because everyone's afraid to say something. They don't want to hurt someone's feelings, or they don't want to be known as that person who is complaining. But when injustice is happening, the person that it's happening to often doesn't have a lot of power to fight for themselves. And they need people who are willing to listen to what they need and to work with them to see if they can make the situation better.
In other words, Andrew, we have a lot of the power in our own hands to fight injustice. We see it happening. The worst thing you can do, Andrew, is see injustice happening and not speak up, not tell somebody. Because sometimes the person that injustice is being inflicted upon does not have the energy or the courage to speak up. So it's up to you, me, and everyone else. Let's take Dr. Martin Luther King, for instance. A lot of the people that were being treated unjustly were not in the position to fight for it, or they were afraid if they spoke up, they'd get fired from their jobs, things of that, or they may get hurt. So it's up to us to use the power within each of us to help fight injustice. And the way we can do that, as the Reverend said, is to speak up. Let's speak up. Let's bond together and fight for justice.
And I just want to pause and hopefully all of y'all are kind of taking this in, but that's going to be really, really important for, this is a leadership forum, and the goal is to be, leaders, right? And that's going to be one of the things, speaking out, it's going to be definitely one of the things that you are going to have to develop and become good at. But yes, great questions, Andrew. And thank you for your answers. Next up, we have Leah. Leah, you ready? Let me pin you.
My name is Leah Smith Maxwell, and my first question is: how are we addressing poverty in Anson County?
Leah? Hi, Leah. How are you?
Good.
How old are you?
13.
13. Leah, when I was maybe 16, I was a student at Bowman High School and 10th grade, I guess. And your question was how we're addressing. Give me your question again, Leah.
How are we addressing poverty in Anson County?
Yeah. So what I decided, Leah, this year, in 2005, the Holler organization was actually founded to address low achievement in the school system. And in 2005, after we started addressing low achievement, we found out that there was a situation where most of the people that were low achieving were not, were in poverty situations. Poverty had a lot to do with people not doing well in school. So we decided we would find ways to address poverty while we mentored and tutored. And one of the best ways we thought was to start introducing more resources into the community, like more ways, more recreation, healthier and together programs, trying to get people to eat better or provide summer camps, to get people to change their attitude about life in general. So we found out a lot of people were not feeling well about themselves, and that can cause you not to do well in school. A lot of people are having a lot of situations at home, and that could cause you not to do well in school. So poverty. So we found out that one of the best ways to address poverty and low achievement was to address poverty. Bring more resources into the schools, find better ways for people to get jobs, expose people to different types of jobs, expose people to different types of opportunities, different businesses and things of that nature. So that's the Holler approach. And I'm sure there are several other approaches out there. And I'll yield to Heather for now.
Right. So, Leah, I'm a pastor, so I work with a lot of different churches. I have my own. My church used to have a food bank because we wanted to make sure people had access to food. And over the years, what they learned is that other food banks came in, and really what we were doing wasn't helping as much as some of the other food banks were. So we decided to switch what we were doing. We learned that no one other than the Department of Social Services was helping people with their light and their water and their heating bills. So my church decided to start doing that because it's really hard to get by if your lights are off or if you don't have water. So we, every month, help people with their utility bills how we can. But we also know that doesn't take care of the problem beneath it. That just takes care of the symptom. It doesn't help change the fact that people aren't making enough money to pay that bill to begin with. And so that's where we are looking for some new ways to work together with others in town and around the county, because lots of organizations are saying, my church does this, but it's just a drop in the bucket and it's not taking care of the problem. My church does that, but it doesn't take care of the problem beneath it. One of the things I'm interested in is several of the pastors in Wadesboro are interested in getting together with people of faith around the county and starting to have some conversations on how we can build a new group that would be able to work together to get to the problems underneath it. So, for instance, one of those pastors is really interested in figuring out how to get transportation up and running so that people can get to a job, because you can't keep a job if you can't get there. And we're interested in finding fair housing so that you don't have a house with no insulation, so you have a huge heating bill. we think if we work together, we can take care of some of those bigger problems. And we're in the first steps of figuring out how to do that. But at least we're talking, and we're hoping it'll lead to something big, something that everyone across the county can be a part of, whether or not they're a member of a church or not.
Okay. And my second question is, what opportunities and resources are available in the county to combat poverty?
Leo, I'll go again with the holler approach. We believe that exposure is the key to a lot of situations. I was in Baltimore this past weekend to the CIAA basketball tournament. Livingstone College got beat pretty good. We made it to the semifinals, but we got beat pretty good. But anyway, what we would like to do is expose young people to opportunities to go to college. Matter of fact, Livingstone College Culinary Arts School has been here several times. Livingstone College actually has been brought into the school system before COVID. They were coming on an annual basis, coming into the school system to expose the young people into the different things that are available at the college. But the whole idea behind that, Livingstone was not really crying about kids not coming to Livingstone, because they may leave here with no one signing up for Livingstone, going to Livingstone College. They saw the importance of exposing young people's minds to that option. And I was speaking to a young man in Baltimore this weekend. He has two cargo boats, two boats. And I said, young man, would you be interested in coming to Anson County to talk to us about that? And he said, yes, sir. It's because I understand the importance of exposing young people's minds to different ways. So one of the things that we try to do on a continuous basis here, expose young people's minds. And that is one of the best tools. One of the best tools to get out of poverty is a good education. Mm-hmm. So if we can continue to get young people to understand the power of education, we feel like we have made a huge step to getting our people in Anson County out of poverty. So that's our focus. And we try to stay very focused on that, because sometimes you can spread yourself out too far. But anyway, we try to stay very focused on getting young people's minds into being exposed to different ways and different opportunities.
I agree with Mr. Gatewood. Like, education is key. I'm from a place with a lot of poverty. And one of the things that helped me is I got a scholarship to go to college, and that changed my world. And that was possible because of all of the people who helped me get the education I needed to even be able to get that scholarship in the first place. One of the things I'm also excited about here in Anson County is we have what's called a community care network. And that is a group that has all kinds of different groups doing good work, send members to it. And they sit down once a month and talk about the problems they're seeing and the challenges people are facing, and work together to find answers for people. So if someone comes to me with a problem that my church can't solve, or with a need that we can't handle, I have a whole group of people that I can call and get their opinions on who might be able to help. And I can get someone to a person who can deal with that particular challenge. And then they do the same for me. So I think working together, it helps.
And Leah, we would be what they call remiss if we didn't mention Networks Anson, the right. Project that we have in Anson County addressing poverty holistically. And just so happens the director of the program is in the screen.
Hey, Devin.
So, Devin, I think it would be proper for you to give a brief on Networks Anson.
Yes, Layla, that's perfectly fine. Thank you for giving me a moment to add myself to the panel for this question. But yes, we do have an organization that both Pastor McIntyre and Mr. Gatewood serve as board members. So I'm very happy to know that they remembered to put Networks Anson up there and say it, because otherwise, what are we doing? But yes, Networks Anson, it addresses poverty holistically. And the way that we do that is through the main thing of what both McIntyre and Gatewood were saying, which is education. And this is a cohort that we create of no more than 12 people who are interested in working on the type of poverty that they are experiencing and that they are wanting to come out of. Now, when we say holistic, that means the poverty can be mental, it can be physical, it can be spiritual, it can be financial, of course, as well. But we don't just look at the financial types of poverty. Right now, amazingly, we are looking at financial poverty with the curriculum that we have going on. And we will be we're happy because we are partnering with Rogers Hart as well as Hala to have Uwari Bank come down to do financial literacy workshops. But yes, we are definitely here to, with open doors and open arms for anyone that wants to join our board and or be a cohort participant. And the only thing that it takes is for them to be willing to dedicate 18 months of their time to work on their type of poverty with us. It is free, and we don't have it as the where, you can only make a certain amount of money. It's there for anyone who is ready to join and wants to do some work. So yes. And also, I will add this to myself and Mr. Gatewood. We are both on the United Way steering committee for Anson County, and a lot of heads at that table. We are trying to figure out things such as, the question is, well, what does Anson County need? And we're saying we need housing, we need transportation. We're having an issue with food, so fresh foods and produce. So that is something that is happening as well that I really hope is going to continue to address poverty in all areas of this county.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great answer. Mr. Gatewood got you, so I didn't have to. But yeah, great. Like I said, this topic was a unanimous answer for the kids, and so even they see and realize that poverty is a huge issue in Anson County. So thank you for your answers, and hopefully we're taking some stuff away, because at the end of the day, we want you all to be able to use this information and to be able to apply it. We got some, I think most of them around the 13-year-old age, and so they're kind of moving towards that group, and we just want you to be fully prepared and ready to take action when that time comes for you. But thank you, Leah, for your questions. And I don't think I see Jeremiah.
Yeah. Do you want me to ask his questions? I do have them pulled up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So the first question is, what does discrimination look like in school?
Oh, it's ugly. Well, let me just say, discrimination anywhere is ugly. Okay. In a school system, any school system, I have to tell another story. I actually thought I was being discriminated against in school in the 10th grade. That's where I was going with that story earlier. I actually thought I was being discriminated against in school, and I probably was, but not for that reason. The reason I thought, I was in the 10th grade, and I was in two classes. One class had only black boys in it, and the next class had only black boys, one black girl, and one white guy. So I went home and told my dad. I said, Dad, something ain't right at my classes. You know, I really didn't know how to explain it to him. Only that I just didn't feel right in those classes. Not that I didn't enjoy being around the group. I just knew it didn't look right in an integrated school. And so I went home and talked to Dad about it as well. Let's go talk to the principal. So he got his cane. He was having back trouble at this time. He got his cane and went to school with me. And he went there and talked to the principal. And the principal said, well, Mr. Gatewood, what happened? The computer puts kids in classes based on their previous year's performance. And Dad just looked at me like, what? So I was like, well, we need to go back and talk about this, Dad. We'll talk about this when we get home. But anyway, it turns out I wasn't the best student in the 9th grade, you know. And Dad was kind of shocked about it. And so anyway, I wasn't discriminated against, it appeared. I had discriminated against myself. I had done myself wrong. You know, Dr. King said the best deterrent to racism is excellence. Excellence is the best deterrent to racism. I say now that that statement is a little optimistic because racists don't care, you know, whether you're excellent or not. They're going to do their thing. But you have a better chance at it when you give you have to give yourself the best chance. That makes sense. We have to do ourselves right. Long story short, after I found out it really depended on me and not on my performance and not my name or whatever I thought I could get to a good class in, I did better. Next time in the 11th grade, my English class had some white folks in it, some girls and everything, you know? So I felt, I was okay, now I'm in an integrated school. You know, this can work, you know? So but you have to really find out the problem. You have to find the source. I'm saying this so you'll find out the source of your problems, of our problems. Sometimes it's racism, sometimes it's not. So I've learned not to blame it on that. That makes sense? I've learned not to blame it on that. So a racist racism in the school system can look like that. It happens like that. Kids get pushed aside into classrooms where nobody expects them to do better. That happens. And it happens often. But in my case, that was not it. So I want you to know racism looks like that. It can look like that. But it can also look totally different because you can make the difference in your situation. You really have the power to make a difference in your personal situation. So once you do that, you know for sure you're being discriminated upon. Does that make sense? I hope so. So always make sure you're giving yourself the best shot you can, then start looking for other reasons for the problems. So yeah, racism is ugly. It looks ugly in a school system, just like it looks ugly everywhere else. But yeah, we have to make sure we're giving our best chance, giving ourselves the best chance by being excellent.
I was going to say, I think he answered both questions in one shot. All right. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, from my perspective, sometimes discrimination is a lot quieter than we expect it to be. When I think of some of the discrimination that's really damaging that we don't talk out about as much with schools, I think of like who we allow students to read and who we don't allow students to read. Whose books are being taught in a classroom? Do they represent everybody, or are they all one type of people? Whose contributions to society are included? Are they diverse, or is it one group of people? And a lot of times that's not thought about. It's people say, well, this is the way I learned history. This is the books I read, so it must be right. But but how are you supposed to learn and about all the contributions people have had in the world if they don't have a place? And how are you supposed to know that someone who looks different or sounds different or acts different can make a difference in the world if they never see anyone like them? But that means we have to be aware of who's out there, and we have to do some research ourselves, and we have to ask questions like, why do we never read anything from someone who came up out of poverty? Why do we never read any Black or brown authors in this class? And if so, are there good things out there that we could pull in? That's hard work, and it's important work. It requires us, again, to work together with folks. Some of the best things that ever happened to me was when I found that there were a bunch of Appalachian writers out there that no one ever taught about. And I lived in Appalachia, but we never talked about Appalachian writers because everyone assumed that we must be stupid. The first time I read books written by people like me, it made a huge difference. And I'm happy to say that in the school systems, they're now teaching some of them. And I think that's a big step.
Thank you for those answers.
The second question, and Heather, I'll pose it to you. I know that Mr. Gatewood touched on it a little bit, and that, Mr. Gatewood, if you would like to still answer this, that's fine. But what steps can we take to make sure discrimination is not happening in Anson County schools?
Well, again, I would say if you see something that looks like discrimination and smells like discrimination, say something. Say something to someone you trust, someone who is likely to be able to make a difference. I think it can also be willing to work with people. I've had cases where people didn't realize that what they're saying or what they're doing is actually a form of discrimination, and they had to learn that. And that was really hard for me to walk them through that. But I think that's part of it, trying to build relationships so that people can understand why something is wrong and how they can make amends and how they can do better.
I will say, if I may, one of the things that's just as bad as racism is favoritism.
Mm-hmm.
I think young people, you have to, in the school system especially, they have these school boards that you can vote to elect school board members. And so a lot of this will circle back around to voting and using your rights. Just use the rights you have to protect yourselves. Favoritism, I see a lot of favoritism in situations where it shouldn't be,
Yeah.
and that's just maturity, you have to grow up not to show favoritism where it shouldn't be. And sometimes it looks like racism because it's basically the same thing. It has the same effect. It doesn't do justice. So we just have a lot of work to do. And I bet you there's a question about that later on too. Anyway, we have a lot of work to do. These kids asked some good questions, man. Thank you.
They put some. It was very interesting going through and coming up with these questions. All right, last but not least, we had Mr. Micah. You ready, sir? Let me pin you. All right, the floor is yours.
Is that Micah Chance? Okay.
The one and only.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Micah Chance, and I'll be representing for 4-H and Holla. And questions are brotherhood across all races. Yeah. Number
What was your
one.
question, Michael?
Number one, what ways can we promote brotherhood across all races in Anson County?
Heather, I'm going to say the best way, in my opinion, to promote brotherhood with all races in Anson County is to have dialogue, but we have dialogue a lot, but have dialogue and get people to kind of just grow up. That's a big issue. People aren't growing up. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of growing up to be a brother to somebody you don't know, or somebody you don't necessarily like, or somebody you don't necessarily understand. It takes a lot of growing up to do that. And when I say growing up, I'm saying maturity. One of the things we have to realize is we're working, once we realize we're working for the total good, we're working for humanity and not ourselves, we learn that we have to learn how to get along with everybody. We have to accept that we get a better chance when everybody is productive, when everybody has experienced justice. So the best way we can get brotherhood amongst ourselves is to understand and respect each other. And that's going to take, again, a lot of growing up. I mean, put yourself in another person's shoes. That's hard to do. I get that. But that's what we have to do. We have to learn to respect people. We have to learn to try to understand people. We have to learn to be fair to people. And once we can learn to do those things, we can have brotherhood. But until we do, we'll be right back at this conversation 10 years from now, asking how can we have or promote brotherhood throughout the county. Now, it took a lot of growing up for me, to be honest, to do that, because I was brought up in a family of 14. We were poor. We didn't have anything. So when I saw people with stuff that we didn't have, I was not happy about it. But I learned that I had to find a way to get myself out of my situation. In order to do that, I had to do like Dr. King said, be as excellent as I possibly could. So we have to grow up. I hope there's some people listening that haven't grown up. We have to grow up and become brothers with each other. That's the way it has to happen. Okay, Michael, I'm sorry. That was my soapbox.
It's all right.
Well,
all right.
And I would add in that we need to be willing to take some risks. When I moved here in late 2019, it was really hard, to move to a new place and to make some friends here in Anson County, because Anson County is full of lovely people, but we don't always trust new folks. And they would see me come and like, why are you, knocking on my door? What do you want from me? So it was hard at first. And then a pandemic hit, which did not help for making friends and building connections and seeking brotherhood in a place where I was completely new. But I kept trying. And sometimes you just have to come back over and over and over again and try with folks. And eventually people begin to see your heart, and people begin to see that you're truthful about wanting to work with folks and cooperate with folks and get to know folks. I lucked out that Ms. Devon was willing to give me a chance. And now I'd like to say that she's one of my best friends. And that means we have to trust each other. Like, Ms. Devon will say things that I don't always want to hear, but need to hear. And I do the same for her. And we disagree about some things, and we agree entirely too much on some other things. And we learn from one another, and we grow from one another. And when I think of promoting brotherhood, that's what it is. It's being willing to love each other and take risks together and correct each other when we need corrected and say we're sorry sometimes, and to keep working together because we know that those relationships are important and that relationships are valuable, and that it's relationships that can change a community.
And the quick thing I want to say is, if we could just maybe do simple stuff like the young people listening to me, if you just do simple stuff like speaking to people when you see them, like it's really hard to even get people to speak these days, just walk past a young person, they just don't speak anymore. So that's a good way to get people to start saying, okay, feel better about each other. You see people in the morning, hey, good morning, how you doing? Scare your friends and do that. Scare the people in your school one day and do that. You see somebody say, hey, good morning, how are you? It really makes them look at you a different way. It makes people say, okay, it's okay. It's okay. I'm looking okay today. People are speaking to me, because if you're feeling good, make someone else feel good. Say, hey, good morning, how are you? And I feel good every morning I get up. Well, most mornings I get up. And when I do, I go out and speak. When I see people, I see them in the post office. Good morning. How are you, sir? And they'll look at you like, oh, good. How are you? Sometimes. And sometimes they say, hey, how you doing? So that helps build that brotherly love kind of feeling in your community. So let's try that. Let's do that as often as we can. Speak to people. Smile. Be happy. That's a tall order, I think, but let's try it.
Let them know you appreciate them and that you see the good things they're doing and that you want to build them up.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Second question. What can we all do to help promote brotherhood and bring people together across all races?
I'm going to say this and shut up. We must let people know how we feel. We must have dialogue. We must talk. We must get to know each other. We must get to understand each other. We just have to get to know. Everybody's not alike. Everybody's not going to be alike. I don't like to hear loud cars going down the street, but I can't hold out against people that drive loud cars. Because to some people, it's cool. But it irks me. But I still say, hey, man, you call loud, but we're good, But so we just have to realize everybody's not going to be like you. And everybody's not going to be like me. So, and people are getting more and more diverse. So we're really going to have to learn how to have discussions and talk it out. Tell people why your car is loud, or whatever. I mean, I know that sounds different, but I'm just using that as a simple part of how we're going to have to start having these discussions. It's tough, Michael. But as humanity and as human beings, we can make this thing work.
And I would say listening is important too. Like, have you ever been in an argument and you say your thing and the other person is like arguing back at you, but you're not listening to what they're saying because you're just thinking about what you're going to say next to kind of get them.
Yes, I do that.
That doesn't help anybody because that means we're just trying to win instead of trying to understand and learn from each other.
Right.
A lot of what I find myself having to do is take time to really listen to someone, to understand where they're coming from, and try to put myself in their shoes so that when I respond, I can be learning from what they said, and then I can give them my perspective, and we can learn to look together and talk with one another instead of yell at one another. And I think that goes a long way, because if I can consider someone else's point of view, then they're not a monster, or they're not out to get me, or they're not stupid. They're not all those things. They're a human being. And we can come up with solutions together and kind of build a relationship. And it's some of the people that I disagree with the most on certain things that I have the best relationships with, all because we learn to listen to one another and say that our relationship matters more to us than those things we disagree on. Even the loud cars. Oh, I've got them on my street. It drives me nuts.
last thing, Mike, I'm going to say about this. I'm still having a difficult time understanding certain cultures. So what I do now, I'll go on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube, man. I don't know, you probably know this. I'll go on YouTube and say, for instance, if I'm having a difficult time understanding the hip hop culture, I said, why these guys do this or why these guys do that, or any other culture, I'm having a problem. Then once you realize it actually is a culture, you know, and cultures have rules, they have, just different things they do. And if it's not a part of your culture, it confuses. You're like, why are they doing that? So what you realize is you have to study the culture if you really care about understanding it. So I really start going on looking at histories on different cultures, the things they believe in and why they believe in it, why they dress the way they do, why they do the things they do. And once you do that, you realize you're not going to just go up to somebody and say, you can't wear your pants like that, because it's a culture. That makes sense. It's a culture. So, and imagine someone trying to tell you not to do something in your culture. It's difficult. So we have to really fight to understand the different cultures that are being developed right before our very eyes every day. There's some people doing some stuff I cannot understand, but I have to find a way to dig into it and see why they're doing it. And then I still don't understand it, but at least I know it's a culture and it's something I just may have to learn how to deal with in order to be have brotherhood and brotherly love in our work.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Michael. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, my youth, for your questions, and thank you, Mrs. McIntyre and Mr. Gatewood, for your just your insight and your advice to our youth participants. Let's give a nice Zoom round of applause. All right. Again, thank you so much for taking y'all's time for being on this evening and just talking and giving your insight.
Thank you.
Moving to the next portion, we have, if it's gonna work, there we go. Game time. We have WellCare with us tonight, and Miss Wing, I think you should be able to share your screen. But we have Miss Kristen Wing with us representing WellCare, and she has a game for us. We've taken a lot of good knowledge tonight, so we're gonna maybe lighten up just a little bit for us.
Yes. Hi, everyone. So I'm Kristen Wing. I'm a community advocate here at WellCare, your friendly Medicaid insurance company. And it's just so good to be here and hear you all talking about, voting rights and justice. I actually got my start in community engagement, just working in voting. It was 2008, my freshman year of college, and a senator named Barack Obama wanted to get elected. So, I volunteered on his campaign, talked to anyone who would listen about why they should vote for him, talked to my family, friends, and he got elected. And it was a really great feeling. I felt like I was a part of something great. And then 2012, he ran for office again, and I was actually asked to work on his campaign as paid staff. So, it's never too early to be involved, in voting rights, in racial justice, anything you're interested in, seeking out those opportunities to be involved in your community, because they really do transfer into job skills, and it's never too early for that. So that's just my little anecdote there. All right, I'm going to share my screen. And I'm just going to play a little quick game of Black History Month Pictionary with y'all. All right. So rules of the game, part 1 is emoji Pictionary. So you use the emojis to guess the clues of the famous African American. And then the second part, there's going to be pictures, and then you guess. So you can either put it in the chat, the first person to put it in the chat, or if you want, you can just yell it out and we'll go that way. All right. All right. So the first one, we got a rose, we got a park, and we got a bus. Does anybody know who that is? Rosa Parks. Good job, Dylan.
Yeah, Rosa Parks.
Yep. All right. All right. Who we got? One. We got a man.
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama. There we go. All right. This next one. Can you guess this one?
Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman. All right. All right. This next one.
Jackie Robinson.
There you go, Jackie Robinson. Okay, Micah. All right. This one's easy.
Cardi B.
Beyonce.
That was Beyonce. All right. This one.
Venus and Serena.
Venus and Serena. There we go. All right. Who can guess this one?
Ray Charleston.
Well, it could be two. So I was taking Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles on that one. Good job. All right. What about this one?
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. Okay. All right. So next part is name that famous African American. I'm going to put the picture up there, and then you got to guess who it is. Here we go.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. This one might be kind of hard. I'm going to give you a hint. She was the first Black millionaire. Hair care products.
Madam C.J. Walker.
Madam C.J. Walker. There we go. All right. What about this guy?
Thurgood Marshall.
Thurgood Marshall. That's right. All right. Y'all got to know who this is.
Coretta Scott King.
That's right. Coretta Scott King. All right. Who do we have here?
I have no idea. Nelson Mandela.
I heard it. Nelson Mandela. Yep. Y'all know who this is?
Markle.
Yeah, I heard it. I think that was Leon, though, but that's Meghan Markle. She was the first Black member of the royal family.
Well, I just knew nobody else would know. That's all.
Oh. What about him? Do y'all know who this is?
Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman. Yep. And then my last picture here. Hold on, let's see. Who we got?
Sasha.
Obama daughters.
Yep, we got Maria and Sasha. All right, well, it looks like Michael won that game, but thank y'all for playing.
GG.
Thank you so much, Kristen. That was fun. Y'all better know y'all Black history and Black icons. All right, good stuff. Let me pull mine back up. All right, thank you again, Kristen. Next, we'll kind of wrap things up. And were there any final words from anybody? Just a last thought or anything? This was a really good discussion. I think we have a lot of tools and a lot of info that we can use and apply as we develop into leaders, right? Did anybody want to say any last thing?
Mr. Cole, could I just say thank you for inviting me tonight to share with our young people. Thank you so very much. And to the young people, thank you for being a part of this. This is like a resource that if you take advantage of it, it can take you great places. So continue to be a part of this and things of this nature, opportunities of this nature. Continue to be a part and continue to be prepared for opportunities that come your way. Work toward excellence the best you know how. Just continue to be excellent and work toward excellence. And I just can't overemphasize the importance of taking advantage of resources that come before you. It's very important. That's your best way out of here. When I say out of here, I mean to a place where you can consider yourself successful and able to give back, as Heather, Devin, Mr. Cole, and I are trying our best to do. Give back. You have to give back. Because once you start giving, the world just pours out into your hands. So have that attitude about life. Yeah. Be a giver. That's it.
Yeah. And I want to thank you for having me as well. This was the thing I've been looking forward to all day. And it was a joy to be here. And it is so good to see people who are interested like y'all, because you can do big things in the world and you can create big changes. And I'm so thankful to know that you are here because you are the ones who are going to help carry us forward and make this a more just and a more merciful and a more compassionate place to be. And I'm excited to see the future that you help us bring into being.
I think that was a good final word. Thank you all. All right, really quickly, we'll run through some announcements and upcoming events. Coming up, I believe this is next Sunday, March the 6th. Devin, do you want to talk about it, or do you want me to just kind of read through it?
Oh, no, it's okay. I'll just say a quick word. Hala Networks Anson and Miss Rachel Melton of her initiative, Rogers Heart. We're excited because URI Bank will be hosting financial literacy workshops, and as you can see, it is free and is open to anyone who is interested. This workshop series will we'll have 4 meetings, and this will take place in March, and it will take place at the Hala Center. It will be led by the Community Outreach Coordinator, Miss Tina Townsend of URI Bank. And as you can see, she will be discussing credit and credit reporting, budgeting, goal setting, and pathways to home ownership. So again, we'd love to have anyone who is interested in participating in these classes. They should be between 45 minutes to an hour each. And registration is this upcoming Sunday, March the 6th at Hala. And the classes registration is from 4 p.m. until 5 p.m. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or Mr. Gatewood. Or if you're in contact with Miss Rachel Melton, she's the town council in Morgan.
Yeah, definitely want to take advantage of this resource. Yes. Also, good. You can talk about your 5K too.
Okay.
I got
Yes. So please mark your calendars. Our biggest fundraiser for Hala is going to take place. It's our 5K, and it will take place on Saturday, May the 14th at 8 a.m. We have some special things in store, and we are getting the planning going with our fundraising committee. And we're very excited because we're taking it back to what Hala, one of its big platforms, which is literacy. So we are having a literacy fair in addition to the 5K itself. And so if you know of anyone who wants to volunteer their time to do a sponsorship or to, make a team of people and to support that way, or anyone that has written a book, send them our way. We want them. We would love to hear from them. So yes, and we'd love to see you all there. Right. And we will have more details that we'll be putting out as well in the future.
Follow them on Facebook.
Yes, follow us on Facebook. Thank you, Sam.
So we're planning to go to a Charlotte Hornets basketball game on March the 19th. Spots are limited, and as you can see, just some quick rules, requirements to be able to attend. Need to be at least 10 enrolled in 4-H online and an active participant in 4-H. And I try to give some examples, right? Attending tonight includes it's part of being an active 4-H'er. So we want to see you active, project records, attending your club meetings and things like that. But if you have any questions, please call down to the extension office. I've had a few people to call and sign up already, but again, if you're interested, just reach out and let us know. And then we have our fundraiser, which runs through March 31st. We just thank you in advance for your support. It's already running. I try to post at least once a week on Facebook, but it's our fundraiser / online auction. So if you get a chance, go check us out. And here's everybody's contact information. I forgot to put Mr. Gatewood and Mrs. McIntyre, but after this, when I send out the wrap up, I will make sure to include y'all's contact information.